There is something about California winters in the 1970s that people who lived through them cannot forget. The sunshine on Christmas morning, the way December felt nothing like what the rest of America experienced. If you grew up then, you know exactly what made those winters so uniquely Californian. It was a time when the rest of the country bundled up against blizzards, while Californians wore short sleeves in January. Kids opened presents, then ran outside to ride new bicycles. Families barbecued on New Year's Day. The concept of winter meant something entirely different in the Golden State. That decade gave California the Rose Bowl on sunny January afternoons, ski trips to Mammoth and Lake Tahoe, and the strange experience of watching White Christmas on television while palm trees swayed outside. Winter in California was not about surviving the cold. It was about living a lifestyle the rest of America could only imagine. Let's walk through what winter actually felt like in California during that golden decade. Some of this might bring back memories. Some of it might explain why so many people moved west, chasing sunshine. Let's step into that world. Winter in California in the 1970s meant temperatures that the rest of America would call spring. Southern California saw December and January days in the 60s and 70s. Frost was rare. Snow was something that existed in the mountains, not neighborhoods. The biggest adjustment for transplants from the Midwest or East Coast was accepting that winter simply did not arrive. Houses reflected this reality. No storm windows, no heavy insulation. Many California homes had no central heating at all, just a single wall furnace in the hallway that families would turn on for a few hours on cold mornings. Fireplaces were more decorative than essential. The sliding glass doors that defined California architecture stayed in use year-round. The indoor-outdoor lifestyle barely paused. Backyard swimming pools sat unused through December and January, but patios remained gathering places. Barbecue grills came out on Christmas Day. Families ate holiday dinners, then went outside to toss footballs or play with new toys. Christmas in California had its own character. Decorations went up on Spanish-style homes and ranch houses. Lights wrapped around palm trees instead of evergreens. Some families bought flocked Christmas trees, the branches sprayed white to simulate snow that would never fall naturally. Department stores played songs about sleigh rides and winter wonderlands while shoppers wore sandals. The disconnect between the Christmas depicted on television and the Christmas Californians actually experienced was constant. Bing Crosby dreamed of a white Christmas while California children had never seen snow fall from the sky. Holiday specials showed families bundled in scarves and mittens. California kids wore shorts to school in December. For those who wanted real winter, the mountains were just hours away. Ski season brought weekend trips to Mammoth Mountain, Big Bear, and Lake Tahoe. Families would pack chains for the tires, drive up winding mountain roads, and find genuine snow. Children who had never experienced winter could build snowmen and have snowball fights, then return home to sunshine. The contrast was jarring and wonderful. You could leave 70 degrees weather in Los Angeles, drive 3 hours, and arrive at ski slopes covered in powder. California offered both experiences in a single day. Before we continue with how Californians actually spent their winter days, if you are enjoying this look back at how people really lived and want to explore more decades and places, consider subscribing. There are so many more stories about how Americans built the lives we know today. The 1970s brought California its share of winter weather challenges, though nothing like the rest of the country faced. The rainy season typically ran from November through March. When storms came off the Pacific, they could dump inches of rain in hours. Streets flooded, hillsides became unstable, mudslides closed canyon roads. El Nino years brought particularly intense storms. The winter from 1977 to 1978 saw devastating floods across Southern California. Homes in hillside communities slid down slopes. Coastal areas flooded. Californians learned that their mild winters could occasionally turn dangerous. But the bigger crisis of the 1970s was drought. The mid-decade drought brought water rationing across the state. Lawns turned brown. Car washing was restricted. Bumper stickers read, "Save water, shower with a friend. The drought made Californians aware of just how dependent their lifestyle was on water that had to be imported from elsewhere. Winter fashion in California was casual by necessity and choice. While New Yorkers wore heavy wool coats and boots, Californians might throw on a light jacket for evening coolness. Sweaters were sufficient for the coldest days. The relaxed California style that defined the decade extended to winter wardrobes. Beaches remained active through winter months. The water was cold, but serious surfers wore wetsuits and caught winter swells. The beaches were less crowded, which locals appreciated. Walking along the shore on a January afternoon with temperatures in the mid-60s and sunshine overhead was a quintessentially California winter experience. Football season brought communities together. High school games on Friday nights, college games on Saturdays, and the National Football League on Sundays. The Rose Bowl on New Year's Day was the premier event, held in Pasadena under typically clear January skies. Tailgating before the game meant sunshine and short sleeves while the rest of the country watched from frozen living rooms. The holiday season meant tamales for many California families. Mexican-American traditions influenced the broader culture. Families spent December weekends making dozens of tamales together, a labor-intensive process that brought generations together. These tamales appeared at Christmas dinners and New Year's celebrations across the state. Winter produce in California was remarkable. While much of the rest of the country relied on canned vegetables, California had fresh citrus. Orange groves still covered parts of the Inland Empire. Backyard lemon and avocado trees provided winter harvests. The farm-to-table movement was beginning, and California's mild winters made year-round fresh produce possible. What defined California winters in the 1970s was the absence of what winter meant everywhere else. No snow days keeping kids home from school. No dangerous commutes on icy roads. No heating bills that strained family budgets. No cabin fever from being trapped indoors for months. Instead, California offered winters that felt like extended autumn. Outdoor living continued with minor adjustments. The sunshine that drew millions to the state remained reliable even in December and January. The decade saw California's population continue to grow as people fled harsh winters elsewhere. They arrived chasing jobs in aerospace, entertainment, and the emerging technology industry, but many came simply for the weather. The promise of never shoveling snow again, of Christmas mornings warm enough for new bicycles, of January afternoons at the beach. For those who lived through California winters in the 1970s, the memories are of sunshine and outdoor living, of holidays that felt nothing like the ones depicted on television. It was a different experience of the season, one that made California feel like its own world. For those with memories of those golden winters, there is always more history to explore.